So with that, everybody, please welcome Amilya Antonetti.
And I'm wearing Caesar. I was like, make it bright. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about reinvention, because if you look at my career, I mean, it's absolutely hysterical. I started as a CMO. They threw me out. They couldn't understand me, into entrepreneur, threw me back into being a CMO, but then couldn't figure out the language that I was speaking. And then they said, okay, well, let's stick her in media, because that's an M. And I'm like, of course, right? Anywhere we can go. And when you talk about reinventing, that's all we're ever doing. We're reinventing our brands, but we're more importantly reinventing the team, right? Because we get it, and they don't know where they're going, but they're relying on us to do it. We can go to this slide. I don't know who's pushing buttons here. So in reinvention, there's three very key things through my career that I've watched over and over again that becomes the secret sauce to reinvention. The first one is awareness. Are you really, truly aware, and is everybody around you aware that reinvention must now happen? Then it gets to will, because we can be completely aware, but not the will to actually do it. Goes back to the old saying all the time, I know I need to lose 10 pounds, I just don't exactly have the will to actually do it. What is gonna take in order for me to lose the weight? Is it actually what is it gonna take in order for me to reinvent the brand? Because that's hard. So, awareness, will, and then the last one is the actions. What actions are you going to take in order to move from where you are to the next level? And when you start talking about reinvention, every time I look at it for myself, are we going to move the slides or not move the slides? We're just going to, we don't have to, but just, if we could, yeah, maybe, in un momento, yeah, well, I'll be done by then. So when we're talking about the reinvention part, and you really start looking about what it's going to take, every time I've had a major, major success, not only did it come off of an absolute disaster, but along the way, getting that closer, I knew that what I had to do was not look in the rearview mirror. Every time I look behind me, every time I try to examine what happened, I will fail. Because reinvention happens way out there. But out of the sweetest seas, you're the only one who has the ability to look way out there. The rest of the seas are stuck right in the present. And if you're working in the present, you can't reinvent. Oh, there we go. There's a slide. Wow, there you go. So talking about being steeped in the creativity, you're the one who knows. I've been doing interviews in the media, and I ask people, what does the CEO does? Not a problem. I ask them what a CFO does. That's a piece of cake. What does a CMO do? Well, this stuff. They do that stuff, that magic stuff, that, it's got, I'm like, they create things, and they stumble in this. But the reality is you're the influencers that create the messages that other people will die on the sword of as if it is fact. You do it. But you have to then also be able to learn how to do it for yourself, and that's the hard part in reinventing from the marketing position. Reinventing you is what's so difficult. We can move to the next slide. Or not. The rearview mirror, I'm telling you, this is the pitfall, this is the death, this is where everybody wants to do, they want to talk about what happened. It doesn't matter what happened. How are you going to go from where you are today to way out there? This is one of my favorite quotes. I pound this into my team all the time. Do not fix the present. Not possible. The only thing you can do is plant the seed way out there, because that is where marketing is birthed. That's where reinvention happens. Next slide. Passion. I should be excited before I get within 3 feet of you, because you should be oozing with your passion. It should ooze off of you what you're actually trying to do. Reinvention should just automatically start coming out from you. If not, then it's the action will, the awareness, action, and awareness, will, and action that are not in place. So once you've dialed in how you're going to invent, where you're going to start moving to, it should come off of you. Learn to say no. There should be more no's coming out of you during reinvention than any other period of time in your life. If you're not saying no every hour, you cannot be reinventing. It is laser focused. Commit to the journey. It's my favorite one. I think I spent a lot of time with young people trying to explain what the word commitment means. They can't quite exactly spell it yet. You cannot be halfway pregnant. Can't. Can't be halfway married. Nope. And you can't be halfway into reinvention. You are all in because every single detail will change. Everything will change. When I went from Fox News to Cumulus Radio, the first thing that I was doing was like, okay, I got to change my look. And I went from blonde, 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 if you guys all saw me last year, to now getting darker. And I love the fact, this is what people tell me now, you seem smarter. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Next slide. Again, when people talk about the CMO position, I can't quite get somebody to articulate clearly on air exactly what it is you do. My best answer that I got in the last week was pixie dust. That is what you guys do for a living. If you just want to know, it's involved in pixie dust. But you have to be able to address it in somebody else's language. I always say, if we're so smart, why can't we speak their language? And the marketing position is the only position that requires you to learn the language of every other C around you because they are not going to learn how to speak your language. You've got to be able to speak theirs. And that is their touch points, communicating for them. Same thing on the team. We're now got a whole range of talents and a whole range of age groups and a whole range of ethnicity that we're trying to harness as we make these reinventions. It's harder now than ever. But the brilliance is in the future to be able to see what's going to happen next. Show, don't tell. I say this every single day. Show me, show me, show me, show me. If you can actually move the way somebody feels, because you're showing them the difference. I always like to say that. I can show you what it feels with Amelia, and then I can show you what it's going to feel like without Amelia, right? Making that power as you build these teams and you change, but more importantly, you do it within yourself. Feeling how you show up inside it, feeling how you show up on the team, feeling how you show up on your own reinvention. And then numbers don't lie. I try to force myself mentally to create a mathematical equation for every action that I do. What is this going to cost you? How painful is it going to do? How much time is it going to take when I'm in the project or when I pull myself away from the project? Next. Your signature. This is my favorite part. I should be able to feel you and know you were there in every single thing that you have ever touched. What you're working on today, if I'm looking at it, and I look at one of the elements, I should know it was your work. On every company that I've turned around, every brand that I've had to spin at the last minute, when somebody else reviews it, they go, God, this kind of feels like that blonde girl was here. Is this her? Because I have my own uniqueness on how I spin and how I build a team and how I exit. They know I was there without me telling them. You need your signature because your careers morph so quickly from one brand to the next. I should feel your work. So let me know you're there. Mark all over it. My CMO for my company says to me, he goes, Amelia, pee all over everything. That's what I'm asking you to do. All over everything. They go, you were here. Next. Yes, there'll be a lot of peeing over the next 2 days. I realize that. Always fun to watch. Next 2 days, you have an opportunity. This is like nothing, any conference you've ever been to before. These are the relationships that are going to change your game on your thinking because you are side by side and shoulder by shoulder with people who are just as crazy as you. Gather the perspectives. Push back. Why do you think that? Why did you do that? How? What were you thinking? Ask the questions that are not politically correct here in this room. Because once your brain unlocks, that's where the future is going to be built. And these are the people to challenge you. Ask questions. Why? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? What worked? What didn't work? What's your instinct telling you about what's happening next? Get in each other's brains. Plant the seeds for the opportunity because you have no idea where you're going to be next. But plant it now. If you can get into what you're passionate about, if you know what you're peeing all over, start planting the seed because it's going to birth. Each one of these brands are going to somehow touch and intertwine and affect one another. And the reinvention happens with you. You can't fix anything around you. You can't birth brilliance around you until you first reinvent yourself. And I'm excited to watch all the way. Thank you. Mr. P.
Thank you so much. Come join us. Come join us.
On the couch. I'm usually in a lay-down position when I have to do this therapy.
Okay. You guys know each other, right?
Yeah.
Old buds? Okay.
Yeah, we were naked all week together.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not touching that. I'm still upset about the pee comment, to be honest. Anyway, so tell everybody real quickly about the new radio show.
Oh, so much fun. So for those of you that get affected by the media, shocker, Cumulus Radio did an amazing opportunity. They've been acquiring companies all across the United States to become the largest kilometer now of radio content. And they've taken something that wasn't very valuable, because it's great to purchase it when it's at the low, and they have done a huge influence. They've got over 525 stations, 110 different cities, and they reach 65 million listeners at any given point. What they learned was that they had to completely reinvent the way radio reaches its consumer, which means they basically had to break up conservative radio. Let me tell you, my friends in conservative radio were not very happy to have a woman come in and start replacing Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly and moving the boys out and making a way for a new conversation with this blended middle. So we're talking about everything you're not supposed to be talking about. So we're having Ilyasa Sabaz, who's Malcolm X's daughter, on this weekend, and we're going to talk about race. And we're going to talk about all the things we can and can't say and why and how come. So it's really hard conversations, stir up the love you, hate you mix, and it's all live call-ins. So it's fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And we're doing something together too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, we
Lunches
are,
here.
right?
So we was talking with Amilya, I don't know, a couple months ago now, and we were chatting about there's just so much, so many bright people in the club, and the ability to capture it. What I found is if we do dinner transcripts or we do other things many times, you just don't have the time to read 18-page transcripts of the Dallas dinner from 2 weeks ago and things like that. So we came up with the idea, and Amilya's graciously agreed to do it, to basically be the host of a new, we're calling it CMO Club behind closed doors.
Behind the closed doors,
Closed doors, where we're going to actually have CMOs, people in the audience here, periodically come, I think every few months or every few weeks or something, come in to the station, be interviewed to create podcast series for all of us. So I want to thank you so much.
So
I'm excited
it'll get
about
pushed
that.
out through the club, but it'll also get it pushed out across the country because, again, marketing is the thing that is just fascinating to everybody and really be able to highlight your brilliance of what you do and how you do it and how hard it is. It's not just magic and pixie dicks. There's a lot that goes in it. So.
And I think the key is we want to make this of value to you. It's not another blah, blah, blah interview, right? It's just something really hard-hitting. And because people are tired of having me interview people, Amilya will be much better interviewing you guys to get some questions. Although there will be no P questions in the interview.
There's going to be peeing questions.
You have to
there
promise.
will be pee questions.
And also, we're going to be, I've asked Amilya's also agreed in the next couple of days to actually host our CMO Club TV interviews here. So you'll be interviewed over the next couple of days, quick interviews, and she'll be handling that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
And Caesar, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
as well. And I do want that, makeover.
No problem.
I'm sure you're going to give it to me
You
whether
have to
I
get
want it or
naked
not.
first, though.
What's that?
You have to
Get
get naked
naked. I
first.
mean, he's
That's-
whipping off things in the
okay, we need
studio.
to talk.
You're like,
Let's
wow.
go to break, though. Anyway, so thank you so much. Hang around for just a second.